But alright, I'm now going to attempt a breakdown of this presentation we got at Tekken World Tour, where we were bombarded with Tekken 8 news, so it's a ton of stuff to break down. I think I'm just going to let this video roll in the background as I do this, so you guys are entertained. Because before I watch this video and do a breakdown of every clip we have, thanks IMOP for actually doing a 2-minute edit with most of the stuff at least. Big thanks for that. You guys watch that, and I'm going to read here like an old man. I still use pen and paper. I'm 37. Give me a fucking break. I'm going to go through all of the significant news. So first off, in case you missed it, Tekken is changing, and it's changing a lot. There are so many different changes. I'm going to go through them, and the game is almost, it's not unrecognizable, but I haven't seen this amount of mixing up how we play since Tekken Tag. This is, you know, you will no longer be playing Tekken 5 anymore, which is what we've been doing since 2005, to be honest. It's been like iterations of Tekken 5 with small additions. Like, oh, here's a wall break, here's rage, more damage, here's a rage art. Tekken 7 took this a slight bit further with rage drives, slow-mos, power crush, for example, but nothing like this. Like, Tekken 7 changed how we play Tekken, but this is like inverting it onto its head. So a lot of people are very nervous, and that happens, you know. Change makes me a little bit nervous as well. I think it's only natural. Like, is this still gonna feel like Tekken? But I think we have to wait and see. But in my opinion, I think it's kind of cool that they are taking risks and taking chances. If this works out, it could be seriously amazing additions, and Tekken is better than ever. But of course, we are taking risks, and it could very well be completely awful. We don't know. And why could it be awful? Because the word they use, the Tekken developers, is aggressive, aggression, spam, press those buttons. That's basically how they market these new gameplay changes. They want you to press way more. And this could be scary. We don't want to incentivize mash too much, so we'll see how this plays out. But it should also be noted that defensive play is rewarded quite a bit in Tekken. You know, if you do duck one high when someone's mashing in your face, you get a whiff punish, you launch them, and they take a ton of damage. So, yeah. Aggressive play is the name of the game. And another huge update is that Arika, who I think are the developers of Fighting EX Layer, did I get that right? They have now been tasked by Bandai Namco to do some pretty interesting stuff with Tekken 7 and Tekken 8. They are outsourcing Netcode. Tekken 7, apparently Tekken 7 is going to receive future updates on the netcode and on software improvement as well as bug fixes. Arika is in charge of this, and Bandai Namco is going to keep doing the balancing work. So this is really interesting. So again, Tekken 8 rollback netcode is handled by Arika and not Bandai Namco. And from what I hear, the netcode is actually really good in Fighting EX Layers, so this could be a positive thing indeed. And it certainly tells you that they are taking netcode seriously. So again, we could get a Tekken 7 netcode update. I would very much be in favor of this. Tekken 8 will have an alpha test, a closed alpha test on location at EVO Japan, and this is in the end of March. And EVO Japan is also the starting tournament for Tekken World Tour 2023. You probably remember we got confirmed we're getting another Tekken World Tour, so again starts with EVO Japan end of March. And the closed alpha test is for people who will actually play at the tournament. So players who register for the event have to register again, I think, to go to the closed location test. Probably they will allow recordings of a game, we don't know yet, but most likely everyone that goes to try it is only going to get a few minutes, would be my guess. And Harada has also taken to Twitter to say that, yes, we will also have beta testing, you know, traditional beta testing for Tekken 8, and this will not be handled on location, closed testing. They will be handing out codes. So the way companies normally do this. I'm very hyped for that, because that's going to be my first attempt with Tekken 8. I hope I get a code, you know, it's not guaranteed. And in other news, Rage Arts are back, as you've seen behind me in these clips. I really love Low's Rage Art. I love Jin's Rage Art. Paul's is pretty good, doesn't blow me away, but it's cool. So Rage Arts are more dramatic now, but they actually work exactly like in Tekken 7, so they still have armor and they still scale with your HP. So if you have 1 HP and land a Rage Art, I'm just guessing it's still going to do like 40-45%. So yeah, Rage Arts are just back, and they have a universal input now. So on every single character, Rage Art is now down forward 1+2. I think this is a really great change, because that's the one thing. I mean, I dabble with 40 characters, and it's always the like, how did I Rage Art again? I just keep forgetting. So I think this is a good change. And in a historic change, this is the first Tekken to have meters. 27 years later, we are now going to play a Tekken with meters. So I don't have to stress how big of a deal this is. We still have to see how it's going to work out, but it certainly introduces a lot of mechanics. And, well, basically, in 2 words, heat mode. I think that's what it's called, like heat mode. So you can once your bar is full, you can activate heat burst, is what it's called. And this is when you do a manual activation of heat. And this is done by pressing R1. So this is like a tag game where you would need a tag button, right? In Tekken 7, you know how you can put anything on your binds? Well, now you're actually, just like tag, you're going to have a dedicated shoulder button, a trigger, to do that. So that's called heat burst, which activates heat. And heat lasts for like, I think they said specifically 10 seconds. I don't remember the time. But this is where you can do some pretty crazy stuff. You do a ton of damage on block. Like, the chip damage is ridiculous, and we're gonna get into that more. You do gigantic amounts of chip damage. So if your opponent just blocks, they will see their entire life bar deplete. You get... God, this is so convoluted. If you do the heat burst, you get one of these. I think it's an 8. If you do it manually. And this allows you to do a heat smash or a heat dash. And you're going to see this during the video. A heat dash is when you connect an attack and then you input a dash. I don't know what the input is. And then you dash out of the attack and you can do follow-up attacks. You've seen Paul do this and it looks ridiculous. He does a death fist and it hits and then he dashes out of it and he can combo. So that's why, by the way, Death Fist does lower damage. They like ripped off half the damage because now it can serve as a launcher. So that's why. So manual transformation, heat burst, gives you 1/8. However, you also have what is known as a heat engager. And this is going to be like 5 moves on every character. And these are going to be very heavy moves, like Paul's Death Fist, you know, these big chunky moves that knock down. They serve as heat engager. And if your bar is full, your heat bar is full, this happens automatically. So they get knocked down and boom, you go into heat. And this is a stronger option of activating heat because this is going to give you 2 charges. So remember, manual, you only get 1/8. If you land a heat engager, you get 2 8s. So what this means is you will have access to 2 dashes, not only 1, but you will also have access to dash into Heat Smash. And Heat Smash is basically the new Rage Drive. So Rage Drive is gone, it's been removed, and Heat Smash during Heat is basically the new Rage Drive. And no matter what, if you do a Heat Smash, this will end Heat. It ends immediately. So when you have, when you do a manual activation of heat, you can do heat smash or dash, But when you are when you land a heat engager, you can actually do a dash into smash. God, I hate these names. Heat, smash, and then dash. I just can't take these names seriously, and I hope they change them. But so I hope that was clear. I really tried to explain this like in the simplest way possible, but it's really convoluted. Like, so you can tell already like a lot of things have happened with the game. But that's basically it. And when you are when you are in heat, you do huge. I mean, you can see here he does Death Fist, Heat Dash into Rage Art. And here you can see the chip. Oh, is the chip gone after the Rage Art? Oh, it removed the chip. So he can't recover his HP gauge anymore after the Rage Art. But here you can see this translucent effect. And Paul nutting, by the way. Admiring his new Karen haircut in the mirror. But so here you can see that is damage that has been dealt that cannot be recovered. The HP bar can't recover. But this translucent thing here, which we would see in tag games, this is called, they had a word for this, recoverable gauge. And this will happen on heavy attacks when you get knocked down, but also in combos. And you can see exactly half. It's like half is guaranteed damage and half is recoverable damage. So once you come out of any aerial combo, so a juggle, like, and you tech roll, you'll be able to regain half of that damage by just spamming on your opponent. So basically, they don't want you to tech roll out of a juggle and start guarding, because then you'll permanently lose that health. What they want you to do is retaliate immediately, because with every hit on block, or you know, if it connects, you get back some of that translucent HP. So again, aggression is the name of the game. And again, I do want to stress that once someone is in heat, I don't know if this specific video by IMOP showed that sequence, because some sequences they showed are not included in this edit. But when Paul is in heat and starts mashing on Low's block, I mean, it's not 1 HP per hit. It's ridiculous the amount of damage he does. So I can only imagine, like, when a Hwoarang is in heat, coming down on you, it's like, if you just block, I'm guessing your HP is just half your goddamn bar? I don't know. Or Steve. Some characters are most likely going to be ridiculous in heat. And I wonder, do they need that aggression buff? Oh dear lord, a lucky Chloe? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm getting nightmares already. So let's see. I think we've covered all of that. Juggle, recoverable health. Right, and then a big deal is that round start intros are back. This is the first time we have them since tag 1. So this is not this sequence, like, you know, at the start of a match, like, yeah, I'm king. It's when the camera comes down on the fighters after the intros and goes, ready, fight. During that sequence, the characters are not in their neutral stance anymore. Paul is going to do this. There you can see. That hasn't been in the game since fucking tag 1 that dropped in what, 2000? It's so cool. I mean, it just adds personality to the characters. I don't know why they removed it, to be honest. So I'm very happy to see that back. Oh, and not a minor detail, but when you are in heat, you have access to a Tekken 6 Tag 2 style Legacy Classic Bound, where they spike you into the ground and you get bounded. So those of you who didn't play Tekken 6 Tag 2, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but it was the first version of Bound that in Tekken 7 turned into Screw. In this game, it's back, and you can do it in only in heat. So you have access to a second type of bound in heat, so a classic bound. And here you can see the new Screw. It hasn't been confirmed if, because the trailer 1, you know, Kazuya does back 4 and it's the Tekken 7 Screw. There's so much stuff in that trailer that I don't think is going to make it to the you know, real game. What do I call it? The finished product. So I'm just wondering, is this the new Screw? We see Nina do this as well. So bam, bam, they do an uppercut. And instead of rotating, you know, screwing, they do a backflip, land on the ground. And this is the new bound, I guess, or screw. So we have a new bound. Goosh. And it looks really cool. Looks really cool. But this is where you're going to have access to ridiculous combos once you're in heat. Because the Nina trailer confirms this. You can now launch, do stuff, activate heat, do the classic bound, oosh, you bound them. After that, you can do the normal bound, that backflip bound. So that means when you're in heat, you have access to 2 types of bounds, right? 2 types of bounds. And you also have access to heat smash, heat dash, and potentially rage art, right? So I think like combos are cool and it's nice to be able to be creative with them. So you're going to see unbelievably creative combos and completely absurd combos. Absolutely absurd stuff is going to be possible in this game. Hey Stonda, good to see you. Slow-mo is confirmed to still be in. You can see a slow-mo on certain of these attacks where the camera pans around. When Paul does his super cool heat smash, you see it. So slow-mo is confirmed to be back. This Colosseum stage you see here does have walls. We can see this when it's not included in this video again, but they show off a combo where he actually takes him to a wall using heat smash. But you can also tell that Colosseum stage is massive. Much, much bigger than anything we have in Tekken 7. So walls, but huge. So this takes me back to Tekken 4, where you would have walls, but you would see less of them in fights because the stages were so massive. If you've played any Tekken 7, you know that basically with the Season 3 upgrades to screws, bounds, juggles, you can be launched on almost any section of the stage, and they will take you to the wall, and it's a wall combo, and then you tech roll and take a fucking guess. Guess wrong, and your dad rounds over. So Tekken 7 combos get ridiculous by the fact that you're almost always guaranteed wall. So matches follow a similar pattern, like launch, juggle, wall combo, take mix up. Try to get back to your feet. So I think you're going to see, this might be a sign that we'll see less of that typical match structure in Tekken 8. And big gigantic combos with big wall damage is going to be less of a thing because it's going to be more rare to actually get to the wall. So I think this is also a good change and might also give more stage variety. Oh, here's a very small map and here's a huge map, right? I just said map because I played Dead by Daylight. Power Crush is confirmed to be back, and it is also confirmed to be more powerful than before. Harada and the game director say that they have buffed Power Crushes and armor attacks in general. I also have to mention that Heat, according to the developers, is there to enhance character identities and personalities, and they showed this by, you know, they have Paul and it's like he's doing Death Fist into huge combos, and with King, for example, it's no, he does a run but now has hyper armor because he's a muscular wrestler, so he can take it, he can take the punishment, and then he'll absorb those punches because his pecs are just so golden and massive, and then he'll just grab you and do an RKO out of nowhere, or a diamond cutter depending on how old you are. So I think this is great. I think Heat should be very different from character to character. It would be really boring if they all activate and use it the same way. So if they manage to incorporate a Heat system that enhances character identity, boom, that would be beautiful. We don't want every character to play the same. And that's it for the all of the news. I tried to recap that as quickly as I could. And that just crashed. Nice. Why do I use Chrome? I don't know. Okay. Why does Chrome eat up so much memory? You know what? I was gonna go through the trailer as well, but Chrome doesn't want me to do that for some reason. I love Chrome. Opera is so much better. We'll watch it in Opera instead. Old reliable Opera. But you guys will not be able to hear the sound, unfortunately, due to my new stream setup. But, oh well. So exactly, here you can see on Paul, apparently not every character is going to be able to do this, but down 1, charge 2, that Death Fist, recoverable gauge on block. On block. And you see how much damage that was? Yeah, you can hear, but the guys on YouTube won't be able to hear this. Guard break. But again, nothing is guaranteed here, right? So in heat, this is enhanced even more. It breaks the guard. But I don't think that's guaranteed damage. I really hope that's not guaranteed damage. But the 1-2 was guardable there. And oh my god, yeah, I do want to say that Law looks so great here. Remember when we saw the second trailer and he did that face? And he didn't look very good? Here it's the opposite in my opinion. Has he ever looked better? I mean, he's too beefy for my tastes. I wish he was more like Bruce Lee, more thin. Relying more on speed. But in my opinion, like, this is so well animated. So far above Tekken 7. A beautiful intro. Really, really like that one. And here, this looks like a down for 2. His nunchuck. So, as you can see, it doesn't launch normally. Looks like a down for 2 with a nunchuck. And then in heat, this is now a launcher. And that's most likely going to be safe, right? And I love this. You see how King he actually points. Here, heat. And when he does his run-up, he points. And it's too swaggy. Absorbs hits. RKO. But here also, note the damage on Law's 2 forward 2-2. It's quite a lot of damage, right? So I don't know if it seems like juggle damage is lower and standing damage higher. I mean, I don't know, but it seems like a lot of damage. But maybe it does that much in Tekken 7? Goosh. Power Crush. I see a lot of classic pole attacks here. While standing to whiff punish. Boom. Does Demo Man, but not the Just Frame version. It's such a cool combo. But so here, again, Death Fists. And this is now a heat engager, right? So again, if he had done a manual transformation, he would get 1 token. But when he Death Fists, again, heat engager, your bigger reward, you get 2 of them. So now he has access to 2 dashes or 1 dash into a heat smash, right? So bound, Death Fist, now he uses up 1, right? Dash. And then Rage Art. There's another sequence that's not included in this, but he ends instead with the heat smash, so he uses both of the tokens. So technically, he could have done another dash there if he wanted into Rage Art. And I love this Rage Art. It's 95 times better than Law's Tekken 7 Rage Art. And this one, I was so hoping when we saw this in the first trailer that it was his actual Rage Art, and I'm so happy it's confirmed that's his Rage Art. And I love when Jin does his swag karate stuff. Makes me think of those old special intros in like Tekken 4, Tekken 3, Tag, where you would see Jin do a full karate kata. And it's that reminds me of like old school Jin, old school Tekken. This rage art is so cool. So yeah, I'm not super blown away by Paul's new rage art, but Jin's and Law's are amazing. So I'm hoping Kazuya's is super cool, and I love this. And I also want to mention that I kind of knew we were getting a meter for the first time. I mentioned it in my video where I talked about the second trailer again after my long break. But I just couldn't figure out how Kazuya transformed to Devil Kazuya in that trailer because he's not in rage. So I'm like, okay, it doesn't work like Tekken 7. So what is he using to do that transformation? Because it looks powerful. It freezes time and he goes into heat. So I'm like, there must be a meter. He must be using a resource to do this. So it was confirmed meter. So then I guess Kazuya's devil transformation is going to be like in Bloody Roar. For those of you who are really old and played that game, where your fighter transforms into a beast, but for a limited amount of time. So Kazuya's devil transformation is now limited, right? For the when heat ends, I guess he's going to transform back to normal Kazuya. So, and I wonder if this... So this means for the first time ever, Kazuya will be able to do a rage art as Devil Kazuya. You can't do that in Tekken 7. So I wonder if you do a rage art when he's Devil, is he going to get a different animation and will it do more damage? But now I'm just masturbating. I really hope that's the case. Would be so cool. But so anyway, that is the breakdown. I hope I did a good job with it. And thank you all so much for listening to me. Take care.